Yo, how's it going, guys? Today I'll be showing you some replays where I play through Disruption. So here we're going to get Veilered right away on our Hydrant. Kind of using the alert here. Quick disclaimer, these duels are from before Rescue and Preventer came out. Sorry, Emergency and Preventer came out. So they won't be in here, and the lines would have been slightly different with them. But I think this still shows the good power of the deck even before the support, where we're going to get Veilered again here. So this is all pretty fine, because now we get to use the Turbulence. That's why we use the spell to search a guy, because that gets us 2 names in graveyard, and he has Imperm as well. So that's pretty unlucky. It's not the end of the world, though. We still have an Ash Blossom in hand, at least. And we're going to go for a Link Karibo here, just to get that into rotation. And then go for the Princess in order to revive just anything. And then we're going into Sunlight Wolf. That's because I actually decided to try playing without the Emblo Whale. I'm not on the Zelantis or anything either. And it's just part of a line that gets me to the Decode Talker Heat Soul. Of course, this all changes a bit with the new support. But I just needed a Firelink monster that I can pop with the Princess. So he's going to summon the Fenrir. And I kind of Hail Mary it here. He's on 2 cards, and I have Ash. And he wants to draw off Talons, which gets negated. And he surrenders, because his last card is dead. And the Princess can get me back my Flamberge next turn. Alright, for this replay, I kind of half lied. We don't actually get disrupted on this turn. However, we do get evenly matched. And I think this still has value in showing this replay. I'm going to be really honest, I don't know if this is like the best way to do the combo or whatever, but we're going to end on a very strong board that screws over most decks. We're going to have the format Apo here, and then we're going to bring back the Hydrant here, make the Barricade board blocker to discard the Turbulence, so the Princess can bring it back. That's how we're going to summon it without having to banish our Hydrant here. We do have 2 Rescuers names, but we want to keep the Hydrant. So we get the bonus added effects off of these guys here. And we're just going to use the OSS to get the Princess in graveyard and get the Hydrant out. So what do we have here? We have Apple for 4 negates. If one of our cards leaves the field by our opponent's card effect, we have to target and destroy a card on the field. This gets me the bonus added effects of Alert, which lets me search from my deck instead of from my graveyard. Contain is not just the Imperm, but also the monster can't be used as material. Extinguish instead of just popping the monster. My opponent can't activate those monster effects of monsters with that name for the rest of this turn. So if they have a second copy or it has a graveyard effect, those all can't be activated. And the rescue, insteed of reviving Rescue Ace from my graveyard, I can actually take 1 from their graveyard. And on top of all of that, we have the Maxi here. So that's pretty nice. And now we get even lead. So before the end of the battle phase, I'm going to start activating as many cards as I can to get them face up into the graveyard here. This way I can still recycle them back later, or just have names to banish off of the Turbulence or something. We do have run a second one, so that's why. And we're going to use the Link Karibo to keep a Hydrant in graveyard. Now, we opt to keep the Apo because it's 4 disruptions. They have Nadir Servant. I'm going to keep them off the draw here. Try to keep them off as much advantage as possible. And are going to negate the Mommy to keep that off. And of course, they can always just normal summon this. So we're not going to negate the effect to special summon. We're going to negate the effect to search here. They have another normal summon we have to negate. And now they have the Furniture. Pitching the Mommy. So that's pretty nice for us, and they set 2. Now we have 0 negates on the Apo, and they're going to go ahead and flip the Goes and Match. So we have to crash here to clear our wind because we're locked into only 1 attribute. I'm going to use the Call By here, and they don't want to pop the Apo, so they want to hand rip something. And we fortunately get to keep our normal summon here. This is going to get us to the HQ. And now we get to have a search for a Korikara, which is huge because it's a free body, and we get to delete their guy. And we're just going to draw here. Since we draw into Erase, it's an additional normal summon, and the add here is just a discard for the Phoenix. Let us get rid of the Goes and Match. Now, during the end phase, Kurikara brings back the Mommy, which is a 1-of, so they're off of that for now. And they actually just rip into another Ariana. Or they added it back, I don't remember. I'm going to go ahead and pop this, forcing out the big welcome. And they decide to bring back their Mommy to hand, which I don't care about. I don't have any traps in my graveyard because they're all face down banished. Kind of sucks. Would have been cool interaction though, but those are gone. And the Mommy in hand is also just a brick. They prefer to have it in deck or graveyard or something. Yeah, so we draw talents, which is pretty cool. But we're just going to go for the revive effect and they surrender, knowing that we're going to kill them here. Even though our entire board got wiped. In this game, we're going to be going second here. We have an Ash and a Kurikara for going second. So I want to see what they're on first, so I don't negate this. Trivi Karma, I don't want to have them get to the field spell, but I'm thinking it's kind of risky to hit it this early on. Turns out they already had the field spell anyways, so they're going to search for this Scream. They have the Sheeran as well. Pitching Destrudo, milling a bunch of stuff, and now they normal the Rhino Heart. I feel pretty comfortable ashing this. I could have waited for the Kit Kalos maybe, but that's also kind of iffy. They're just going to go into a Redoer here. I mean, they have a strong enough hand to play through a single disruption. Would have been kind of sad if Ash just ended their turn, if we're being honest. And they get to mill a Snow here, so that's another disruption we have to be mindful of. Hitting a bunch of other stuff, including the, what is this, Hat Tricker, or what is this clown called? Performance Trick Clown. Getting back a bunch of cards to their hand. Now they have Havness in the hand as well. Destrudo's going to come out for a Baron, which is a pretty interesting line, honestly. Snow coming back, and they make Abyss Dweller here. And they set a card. I'm not sure if we know what it is at this point. And we get Max Seed. We draw our Max Seed for turn, which kind of sucks, but honestly could be worse. And they suck up a card. So what do we have to deal with? They stole one of our Flamberges, which is, I think, our only one. Yeah, it's our only Flamberge that they sucked up because we are on Rescue Ace and not actual Pure Snake Eyes. They have the Abyss Dweller to turn off my graveyard. Baron gives them another negate. The planet can also potentially just pop a card on the field, slowers attack, and we have to be mindful of the snow in the graveyard. Nothing else does anything here. So this looks not that good. The Max Seed fortunately lets us draw a few cards during their turn when they start fusing and stuff. Kurikara is going to be how we're going to attempt to win this game. And the Turbulence HQ are pretty mediocre. Diabell Star is probably going to get negated, but it gives us a push. And they opt to not actually use the Baron to negate, but to actually keep playing. So now they also have the Shuffler. So there's already 2 grave effects, but we get to resolve our Max C, and now I see the talents. Now basically the name of the game is we bait out as many monsters as possible, bait out as much disruption as possible. We're hoping somebody negates this. You shouldn't ever negate this, really. You should just negate the Diabell Star for the most part. So I'm trying to triple tactics to steal the Abyss Dweller. That'll turn off the Shuffler and their Snow. And then I'm going to try to Kurikara their entire board. And then maybe we have a chance there. We unfortunately have to play into the Max C here, letting them draw a bunch of cards. I'm just hoping they don't draw into anything real. We're going to try to deal with their back row here first, which unfortunately does get to trigger. This also gets to resolve. They're just holding the Rokalos for the Poplar here. And they send the Rhino Heart. This comes back. Unfortunately, we can't Kurikara it here, but then they do use the effect to just shuffle back my Snash, which is great. We take the Dweller, and they're going to Snow to book it. And for some reason, I can't activate it here. If anybody knows why I can't activate it here, it's supposed to be a quick effect to detach. Game won't let me. Maybe I missed something. I have no clue. So they're going to book it. And when I flip it back over, I can use it. Maybe it's something like this card already used its effect or something when my opponent controlled it. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to use Dweller here. So we don't have to worry about anything here. We're going to tribute off the Snow. And when we go battle phase, they're going to have to use the tier cache because this is main phase only. They're down to 3,500 life points already. So I would have just killed them straight off. Now the Turbulence comes out here. Gonna set a bunch of stuff. And now we have a way to beat over the tier cache with the turbulence, and the Kurikawa will swing for lethal. Alright, so in this replay, I am going to play into Nibiru because I fumble a line. However, what I wanted to show off was another pretty funny interaction. So this was when I was starting out with the deck, and I'm going to go for an Apo here. Pretty much the misplay here is I send the Flamberge, and now I just lose to Nib, right? It's kind of too greedy, but we're just going to ignore it. We have an Apo that we made with the IP, so it can't be destroyed by card effects. And then we have the Flamberge to bring back the IP. So we're going to draw phase the Maxi, and they're going to Duster. So we're going to use the Flamberge here, and now since this was in the main phase, they're going to thrust for talents, and I, being smart like that, because I don't want them to have the Apo, go ahead and make a Promethean Princess. And since this is the only monster on the field, they have to take this, and now they're locked into fire, which is hilarious, because, well, hopefully they can't play the game, right? Otherwise, I mean, I just lose anyways if they take the Apo. I don't think I was playing Goddess here. Yeah. Otherwise, I could have gone for that because they can't take it. So what I don't get here is why they don't just search for Arabesque. Like the searches any equip spell from your deck to your graveyard, to your hand, right? And we know they're playing Mikonkos. So they should just have Arabesque equip it to the Promethean, summon Hare from deck, bounce this, Hare triggers, gets another spell, and they just like actually play the game. No, I have no clue. Yeah, so they just get frustrated that they can't summon anything and surrender. It was pretty funny. Yo, what's poppin', guys? Today we're going to be showing off the potential that SPYRAL has to offer. If you want to have some more in-depth gameplay or guides, be sure to check out Two Tone's channel. I'll drop a link in the description if I don't forget. Now I'm going to show you guys the deck that we're going to be playing against here. It's just Numeron, Board Breakers, Turbo. They have the Sphere mode, the Golem, all of this stuff. And we're still going to win. So let's see how it happens. All right, we're going to start off. Now I misplay here, right? So I'm going to Souls here. And then I should use the SPYRAL Resort first because that plays around Imperm and might bait the Ash on the quick fix. However, I'm an idiot, so I don't. But it doesn't matter because we call the super agent correctly here. I can probably play otherwise as well. Now these cards are actually hard ones per turn. I'm just going to fast forward this part most likely. Here I realize I forgot to get Secret Village, so I'm frantically doing this with like 30 seconds left on the clock. Alright, now let's have a look at our end board. We also get, we don't get the follow-up here. Oh well. So we have a Secret Village, which turns off spell cards. Our spellcaster is Celine. And they can't kaiju this because the kaiju has to go into a main monster zone and they're all full. So they can't actually kaiju this. They need Lava Golem or a Sphere mode to get rid of this. And if they do get rid of this, we have an Ib here, which just takes two monsters with different types and attributes. So I'll just use the IP with anything else to make it. And that makes the village live again. We also have the Trigate for an Omni Negate, which happens to be a soft once per turn. So after this has been used up, we can use the IP, link with the Trigate, and like the double helix to make a unicorn. And then the singularity will trigger to reborn a Cybers monster in your graveyard, which is the Trigate. And then it'll come back and it has an Omni Negate again. Singularity also lets us bounce for a Ritual Fusion Synchro and Exceed. Our combo line goes through a Synchro and an Exceed, and we can occasionally also have Illusion of Chaos in the graveyard. So that would give us 3 bounces here. IP has the option of going into Apo, Unicorn, or Ib for the Spellcaster Village. Sleeper here is indestructible by battle or card effects, also untargetable, all because of the last resort, and it gets to quick effect pop 2 cards that our opponent has. If the combo line runs through a Barricade Borg blocker, you also get to add back a field spell from your graveyard, which is usually just going to be the Spiral Resort for follow-up. Alright, so our opponent's going to start off here with a nasty Sphere mode. For some reason using the Cosmic Cyclone and then just passing. We still have the Sleeper for 2 pops here, and we do have follow-up, so they are just screwed. Yeah, and we're just going to go, and they're going to go surrender. Alright, just a short game. Yo, how's it going, guys? Let this be a lesson to you to keep your furniture until the end phase, or you will get Omega punished. Ha ha ha, got him. We're just going to summon out the lady here and pass turn, and our opponent's going to set a card and try to bait out some of our disruption or something. Not really sure what they were thinking there. So we're going to use Omega and try to snipe his lady from the hand. I'm just going to clear the back row here to get rid of it, and Mommy will get a pop on his monster, and he's down to 1 card and can't play the game. IDP solos his deck as well. Yo, what's poppin'? Today we're playing some more Zefra Control. I wanted to see how this plays against the meta. We are playing against Shadows though, which aren't exactly meta. But it was still a fun game. It got pretty grindy. We got completely slapped around by my opponent having 3 maxis, so that was pretty questionable. Gonna be adding another Zefra, so I can pen summon this. We get max seed here on the Diva. So when we use this effect to banish a card from the top of this deck, it's gonna Veiler it, which I feel is completely wasted. Instead we're gonna go for Denglong, which then gets ashed, which is probably correct because he can't actually ash Zefra since we're going to be chain blocking it here. That's gonna get us the path. It'll tuck back that Denglong, and now our opponent can only special summon from the hand or the extra deck. And then we also have the Maxi. So he decides to not do anything here, except for Maxi me again. Kind of obnoxious. No point in committing into it. I'm gonna crash into Wendy here, and even though it's flip effect with special summon a Shaddoll monster from their deck, they can't because Path says that they can only special summon monsters from the hand or extra deck. So already starting to hurt their grind game here. And they're going to use the Cartesia, which I'm going to, of course, Maxi. And our opponent here going to trigger the Squamata he sent and the Construct to send a Beast and a Dragon. Now, you can't target the Zefra Path because I have cards in my Pendulum Zones, but if he destroys one of my pen cards, the Zefra Path will also get destroyed. So fortunately, we have the Providence to protect our Zefra from destruction, so he stays under the lock here. Decides to attack into the Zefra, so you get to search another Providence for more protection. Also not ashable since it is in the damage step or something, I believe. Yes, at the start of the damage step. And as you can see, third Maxi, beautiful, you love to see it. Gonna go make another Denglong for the counter trap here. Stack the Maxi on top just to chain block another Ash Blossom potentially. And we're going to grab the War. So we have 2 counter traps here, and Zefra War is activatable from the hand since we have 2 Zefra cards here. Now, I'm going to be using the 9 pillars to remove the construct. But I'm going to also be popping the Denglong, which I feel is a mistake, since I guess I still lose it, right? And I can't use its effect to summon from the deck because of my own path. I probably should have hit Zefra and then search for follow-up. Maybe just kept the 9 pillars, but I also have like a clogged pen zone here, so I'm just going to use the path to pop his back row. Turns out it wasn't really worth it because the summons from the graveyard, which doesn't work under path anyways, so I could have kept that since I will be eventually running out of resources. We're only on 1 of each counter trap here, but we're going to go grab the Zefraxaton, which gets the pop face down cards, and these dudes have effects when they're sent to the graveyard by a card effect. So that's kind of unfortunate. And they're going to opt to destroy my face down, fortunately for me. So we're just going to go into the Baron, and they decide to surrender because they've had enough here. Honestly, I haven't really changed much since the last time. There's definitely some considerations to be made. Like maybe you could run the Changying in the extra deck as well. I've taken out the Barricade Borg. Roll still seems really nice here. Remember, it's also searchable off of the Croco Dragon. But for the most part, the list hasn't changed much. Felt pretty nice still. There's a lot of tweaks you could do to it. And I guess we'll have to see how it fares in the meta. Against Snake Eyes, Path turns off the Snake Eyes cards, summoning the Flamberge or whatever from the main deck. That's pretty nice. It also turns off them summoning the monsters that are in the back row. So their field spell and Flamberge during your turn can't bring back an IP or something. So that also really helps. Yeah, but aside from that, also turns off Vanadium Meek, and they can't use the Scareclaw Revival card. So this really hurts a ton of stuff, which makes it an actual consideration to play, since it is a much simpler way of playing the deck, but it still feels very rewarding if you make the right decisions. All right, that's it for me. See ya.